So, you got your real estate license. Now what? What do we do after that? Do we just wait for the deals to roll in? Well, some, and frankly a lot of realtors do that, but that isn't the key to success. So in this video, I'm going to go through 3 of the main pillars that we teach our team, we teach other realtors as they come into our brokerage, and that I've done myself to find some success after 16 years. I'm going to help you avoid some of the mistakes I've made, of which there are many. And we're going to go through lead generation, lead nurturing, lead follow-up, the systems that help us do those things, and also one final piece that's more of a personal nature, but is of the utmost importance in my business anyways. And so why should you listen to me? Well, because I've been able to build a business that I'm proud of and that supports my family. And it's sustained itself for 16 years. So if you'd like to learn how to do that, please stay watching, and I'm just going to give you some of those tips and tricks, and I'm going to tell you about some upcoming videos that we're going to be doing. So let's get into it right now. We're going to start with the heavy lifting, like you should every day. It's lead gen. And there are many sources of lead generation, but really when you break it down, what is lead generation? Well, that's just contacts. How many contacts can you make? What is a contact? Well, that's a discussion. That can be a discussion at a coffee shop. That can be a discussion in a line at a grocery store. That can be asking a friend out for a coffee. And are you asking them for business? Well, if it comes up, yes. One of the best things to do in a conversation is to ask questions. The more you ask, the more you keep them talking and telling them about you, the more they're going to like you. It's counterintuitive, but our first reaction is to fill the voids with the impressive knowledge we have about real estate. No, it's more about getting to know them. What are their goals? What are their aspirations? How can we help them? How can we guide them? Using our experience, or if you're brand new, the experience of a mentor or your team into getting them where they want to go. People move and people sell or buy properties because they think it's going to make their life better in one way or another, whether that be financial, situational, size, whatever it is. So as humans, we move from pain to pleasure. So we have to identify what those pain moments are for them, and that is their motivation. If they're not highly motivated, they may be a challenging client. We've all had those, but you can still help them along the way. And know that, what they think they want will change as you go through. And that's okay too. And how do we figure that out? Well, we ask questions. But back to that lead gen thing. So we can do some online lead generation, some PPC campaigns, some Facebook ads, things like that. Our experience with that is that they do convert, but like door knocking, which we'll get into, it's usually an 18-month conversion time. So do you have that time and those resources to put in there? When I was starting out, I didn't, so I didn't do that. When you're on a team, that team, it's one of the benefits is that they have more of a budget for that kind of lead gen. But it still takes a long time to nurture, and you have to have those systems, which we'll get into, to make sure that you're staying in front of them, keeping in touch. We as realtors and as humans, we like the low-hanging fruit. So yeah, if someone came to me and said, I want to transact this month or next month or even 3 months out, okay, they're going to get 100% of my attention. But what about those people that are, I don't know, maybe next year or the year after? How do you stay in touch with them? Well, that involves a system. And I think that, it's not the lead gen where we lose people, it's actually in the lead nurture. So keeping them in our database, being top of mind, bringing value, finding out what they want. What do they want to hear about? Do they really want to see us saying just listed and just sold? Likely not. So give them some value. Teach them. Show them how to look at property. Show them what to do. And in subsequent videos, I'm going to talk about, what do you look at a showing? But anyways, so let's get back to that lead gen. You can do, that online lead generation. That means calling, and there's a cadence for success for that I'll share with you. That's pretty much it. It's stay in touch and stay on them. And as they come in, there's a cadence for that. It's gotta be, you gotta get on top of them. You gotta get over the fact that you think you're hounding them. You gotta come from a place of wanting to service them. They're lucky to work with you. They're lucky that you care. So show them that you care by staying in touch. The next piece is door knocking. I mean, it's as old as sales can get, and a lot of people love it. Most people don't, but our team is very successful at it. Our guys knock on 200 doors a week, and from that, we are converting. It does take a little bit, so it does take about 18 months to actually gain that trust, for people to see you at their door, for them to respect the hustle. It's all about consistency. And it's also all about just being you, getting to know them, talking to them, seeing what they're doing, what excites them, what really interests them about the area. And we layer that in with a lot of community events and a lot of things that they can come to for free. Why? Because we just want to be part of their experience in the community. And we hope that will lead to them dealing with us when they want to buy or sell. It doesn't always work, but we have had a lot of success on that. It just is about consistency. And at the door, you've got scripts you've got to learn. You've got to talk to them. So you've got to learn what to say. Scripts need to be second nature. So they need to be inside of you. So you have to practice. We script practice every day. So that is the language of sales. That's how we learn how to talk to people, especially when you're new. And bring something for them. I don't want to ask for anything before I give them something. So we give them valuable information about the market that pertains to their home in particular, any events that we're having, things like that. So we give them an invite to something. We give them things before we start to ask them for something. If someone came to your door and asked you for something, I think you'd probably shut down right away. Well, they're just like that. So we have to come from a place of giving, and slowly that trust will build. So that's door knocking. Myself, I like networking. I treat networking as a lead generation source. And what do I mean by that? Well, I get purposeful about networking. So I have to network at least 3 hours a day. That means calling, meeting people, talking to people. I join groups that I'm passionate about, that have interests that I like, and that I can meet people at. There's a few reasons why, because then, if someone else is in that group, it means that we have something in common that we enjoy doing. It also doesn't feel as much of heavy lifting. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like meeting people, which I love to do. If you don't like meeting and talking to new people, this business might be tough for you. But if you do, just get out and do it. So what is the key for success? Well, there's no silver bullet. We work on 100 contacts a week. If you make at least 100 contacts a week, meaning you talk to them, you have a discussion about real estate, then you will be successful. Not right away, not all the time, but it will come. And we've proven that time and time again. Now, the second piece I wanted to talk to you about is equally as important as getting the lead into the funnel, is how they're treated once they're in there. So how do we interact with them? How do we follow up with them? How do we keep them interested? And how do we show them that we care and know what we're doing so that we can build some trust? And that's really all about a cadence. I'm going to pop the cadence on here. And this is what we work with, okay? So from first lead all the way down to a past client, we follow this cadence. And how do we follow it? Well, you can do it in many different ways. I mean, when I started, it was as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. But we've gotten a much bigger list now, and there's a lot of balls in the air. So we have gotten a CRM. Whatever CRM you use, that's the one you should use. Everyone always asks, and if you search what's the best CRM, I think the answer should be the one that you use. So we use Follow Up Boss. I've tried many, and I really like the functionality of Follow Up Boss. There's a dialer right in there. You can set up automations. It integrates fully with our website, both our lead gen and our branded website. It allows us to monitor what our agents and our success partners are doing. We can integrate it with our lenders. There's just so much functionality in there that we use it to a very high level, and we continue to try and grow within there, segmenting our emails so that a buyer is getting a buyer email, not just a standard sort of newsletter for everyone. We're trying to have a targeted message so that they feel, and truthfully, so that it is targeted for them and created for them. So that's what we do. And, in this cadence, there's, when our lead first comes in, it's called twice a day for 10 days. And then if you don't get them, they get put into basically a pond, which is kind of a waiting area while we slowly nurture them and let the system nurture them. That means they're getting emails monthly. They're getting tailored emails for what their interests are. They're getting follow-up calls, all the way down to our past clients or our sphere of influence. So the sphere of influence, they get a call every quarter, and that is timed. We have it where our agents and myself, we come in and we have smart lists at the top, and those are filtered leads or contacts, and they're filtered by the cadence that we've already programmed in there. So that's already built out for you on our team. I suggest you build one out for yourself or find a team that offers this for you. It takes a little bit to build it out, I'm not going to lie, and it's a bit of a rabbit hole I like to get stuck in, but it does take a little bit of work. And you just gotta trust the system. You gotta do, don't think. Just come in and clear those lists every day. And that's what we do first. We do that first in the morning. We start, 9 o'clock at the latest, and you do that until 12. I myself also have switched a little bit, so I'll do some of that in the morning, but a lot of my clients and my past clients, they're working and they'd rather me not call them at that time. So I have found that I need to get on the phones between 4 and 7 p.m. That can be a little bit difficult with scheduling, but that's something I work around. So that lead follow-up and that lead nurturing, coming from a place of contribution, is super important. Just be genuine. You're a real person trying to help them. And yes, we make money while we help them. But really, the forefront of what your passion should be and what your driving force is the fact that you want to help them. And then lastly, the piece that a lot of people forget is our personal mental health. How do we not let this industry and this business and this career take everything from us? Because you can work, and I have 14-hour days, 7 days a week for every day of the year if you want to. But I can tell you from my own personal experience, that will stop. Your body will burn out. I recently went through that myself this year, and I had some physical problems because of how hard I was pushing. And so you have to find that balance. I also had a time where my daughter, I came home and my daughter drew a family picture, and there was only 3 people in there. And I said, Annabelle, why are there only 3 people there? Oh, Daddy, you're working. Oh man, that crushed my heart. And I made some changes right then and there, because work is very important to me and I really like it, and it doesn't feel like work, but my family is even that much more important, and I want to be a part of their lives. So I've actually changed my model so that my work supports my ability to be in their lives, and it's a much better balance. But what does my day look like? Well, I get up and I meditate. Meditation is exceptionally important for me, and I think for everyone, to get that solid base where we can work from. We're paid to come into people's lives when they're very stressed at sometimes, going through some very tough situations. And I need to leave my own personal issues and stress and what's going on that day at the front door before I meet with them. My energy needs to be high, and it needs to be all about them. So I need to reset every day with some meditation in the morning. Okay, I do some gratitude as well. Get that gratitude feeling going through the body. We do it as a team. We have a call every morning and we talk about gratitude. The first thing, what are we grateful for? And then what are we working on? So those 2 things for me are what set the day off as a balance. Then I do my lead gen, and I also do something physical. So I work out 4 times a week, not every day, but 4 times a week at a set time. That's the first thing that goes in my calendar. I need it. I need to be physically fit. It also helps my head, because we, are running around and have crazy hours and all of that fun stuff, and dealing with all different types of people, from great to not so great. So I need to clear my head again at around noon is when I work out. And then the afternoon for me is for paperwork, admin, team stuff, and then I do end the day again with some meditation and some personal time, reading a book, watching some TV, playing with my children, doing something like that. I did recently read a great book called The Power of Fun. If you haven't read it, you should read it. I realized that I didn't do much for fun anymore, so I've put in some things. I started to learn how to skate after 30 years of not being on skates. A very humbling experience, mind you. But, finding things that make me happy that aren't around work. And why is all this important? Well, it's because we need to come with our best selves for our clients. We need to be level-headed. We need to calm them when they're stressed. And they're going to ask for as much of us as we'll give them. So we need to figure out what those boundaries are. We need to understand where we can say no. When I first started, I would answer the phone at midnight with all clients, and it wasn't their fault because I would be there, and it would really stress me out, and then I wouldn't get a good sleep. Now I set those limits. I'm not a surgeon. It's not really that big of an emergency. If there is an emergency, they can get a hold of me. They know, all my clients know how to, but really the amount of emergencies I've had in 16 years of real estate are zero. That couldn't wait until the next day at midnight. We do have to negotiate, and sometimes those negotiations go well into the evening with DocuSign. Thankfully, we can usually do it from the comfort of our home or our home office. It used to be that we'd be in our cars with our clients in a stressful situation, in a bidding war, signing 4 different copies on the hood of my car. That's all gone away. So it is a lot more manageable, I think, now. But we still have to watch. If we have that time, then, make sure to schedule some time off. That's the next piece. We start our calendars every year with our time off. Schedule your vacations. Make them goals. You're never busier than before you go away. And so I try to go away at least once a quarter because I want to stay busy. And I want to also have that time off with my family. So between the lead generation, lead follow-up, and systems, there are many more systems we have that we're going to talk about later on in future videos, but basic CRM systems, and then also that personal piece. What keeps you you? What keeps you growing? What are you doing for professional growth? What courses are you taking? How are you investing? What are you going to do for vacation? Have you scheduled it? For me, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. So I put everything in my calendar. And if you've made it this far in the video, it'd be crazy for you not to subscribe. I'm going to put out many more of these videos just to help you. Things that I've learned along the way, and we can discuss, and we can throw items out there that, will only better us as realtors in our craft. I'm going to get geeky on my tech. One thing that some people don't know about me is that I love tech. To the point where maybe it might be a little bit of a problem. But I love new techie items, and I'm going to show you what I use and some of the things that I would say you don't need that I have. So we're going to go through all of that. That's all coming up in the following months and the following videos. So I hope you do subscribe and like and share. That will only help us grow this channel more. Thanks so much.